Developing tonight, the water superintendent in Waterbury has resigned after he was accused of misconduct. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 10. I'm Brent Harden. The mayor there says the city uncovered the misconduct during its ongoing investigation into water flow issues there. Fox 61's Tim Lateau has the latest on the development.
You might recognize the name Bradley Millay. He's been at the forefront as the city has dealt with multiple water main breaks over the last few months. Now city leaders say Millay has engaged in misconduct during his time as water superintendent.
We've never faced a situation of re-energizing a system the way we're doing it right now.
It was a winter of water main repairs unlike any other. Water Superintendent Bradley Millay was there through all the snow, rain, mud, and long hours. Now Millay is out of a job, and the city is investigating its water flow issues. The city says on Wednesday Millay was asked about the alleged misconduct during an interview. He then declined to answer and resigned on the spot. Parts of Waterbury's system are more than 130 years old and suffered multiple catastrophic failures over the fall and winter. Some caused people to lose water for days and took weeks to repair. We saw Millay there working late nights and early mornings alongside his crew. In the aftermath, he worked alongside city officials and spoke to our crews multiple times. He and other leaders attempted to secure federal aid to help mitigate future main breaks.
It can always happen again. I mean, you can always have a catastrophic break somewhere. All we can do is try to mitigate how we will handle it if it does happen.
The city didn't specify the kind of misconduct Millay is accused of or what consequences he might face. The city says it's now in the process of filling the water superintendent position and is actively scheduling interviews with candidates. Assistant Water Superintendent Chris Savage will oversee the day-to-day operations of the Bureau of Water with help from the city's water distribution consultant. But Millay, the water superintendent who worked to try to fix the city's infrastructure, is now under more scrutiny than ever before.
Nobody wants to live through this again. It's important that we're all on the same page, and I think we are. You know, this stuff has to be repaired, has to be gotten out of the ground, and it needs to be replaced.
The mayor's office declined our request for an interview. To keep you updated as we continue to learn more information. In Waterbury, Tim Lateau, Fox 61.
Well, today, the Connecticut State Senate passed legislation to maintain high immunization standards and protect the state's public health system from federal rollbacks. This bill would let Connecticut set its own standards based on guidance from groups like the American Academy of Pediatrics. It would also create a Vaccines for Adults program for the uninsured and allow pharmacists to administer any vaccine on the state schedule. The bill now heads to Governor Lamont's desk. All right, time to look at the weather now. Sun's out, Cubs out. Today was sunny and warm, and these Cubs were out in Torrington today soaking up the mild weather. Meteorologist Rachel Frank joins us now with a look at the forecast. Rach?
I could watch that little bear cub waddle down the tree all day. So cute. And tomorrow won't be quite as warm as today, but I'm sure the bears are still going to be out today. We hit a high of 70 degrees. Tomorrow will be closer to the 60-degree mark, but still warmer than it was for most of this week. Right now, temperatures are in the mid-60s for Hartford, for New Haven, and there's still a bit of a breeze out there, but the wind will continue to diminish. We're already seeing those winds come down a lot from where they were earlier. We have a lot of clouds out there tonight after previously having a pretty sunny day, and there is a slight chance for a light shower or sprinkle overnight into daybreak tomorrow, but most of us will stay dry. Overnight lows will be in the 40s for most of the state, but for parts of northeastern Connecticut where we see more breaks in the overcast overnight, we could see some 30s. Otherwise, any early areas of clouds break for sunshine tomorrow. We're closer to average, so seasonable, mid-50s at noon, and high temperatures will be around 60 as we head through the late afternoon. There is a chance for some rain this weekend, and the amount of rain you get will depend on where you live. We'll take a closer look coming up, Brent.
Thank you, Rach. Earlier today, we learned an inmate at the Hartford Correctional Center has died. The Department of Corrections says 20-year-old Jay Sean Johnson was checked out by medical staff around 10:30 this morning. He was taken to a hospital, and officials say he was alert when he left the correctional center, but shortly after arriving at the hospital, he died. State police and the Office of Inspector General are investigating what happened, and the medical examiner will determine the exact cause of death. All right, take a look here at this video we just got today of a man sucker punching a New Haven police officer earlier this week. And police say Myron Mullins banged on the hood of a police cruiser like he needed help. And when the officer got out, that's when this happened. This is surveillance footage from the New Haven Police Department. Police tell us the officer has some bruises and cuts on his face, but otherwise he's okay. In the video, you can see other officers stepping in to get Mullins off the officer and take him into custody. Officials also say this is not the first time Mullins has done something like this. It's reported he has also damaged police vehicles in the past. Well, just a few weeks after an Avon daycare worker was arrested and fired for allegedly sexually assaulting a child, the daycare itself announced it is closing. The final day for the daycare, called Bright Path, will be May 22nd. It will remain open in the meantime while families find other options. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson talked to a mother who was one of the first to pull her child out of the daycare after the allegations surfaced.
It's not an abrupt closing here at Bright Path in Avon, but it only gives families a month to find alternative sources of child care. It's not an abrupt closing here at Bright Path in Avon, but it only gives families a month to find alternative sources of child care. Attorneys working closely with families after the sexual assault allegations say the closing of the daycare complicates things as they move forward. In an unexpected announcement Wednesday, Avon's Bright Path location said it will close its doors in a few weeks amid an investigation into Jean Carlos Berrios Otero, a daycare worker who police arrested on sexual assault charges. Part of their statement said, quote, "After careful consideration, we have determined that it is in the best interest of our children and families to take this course of action. We believe they deserve an experience without the disruption that Bright Path Avon has faced in recent weeks." Attorney Eric Schoenberg is working with dozens of families who could have been affected.
One of the difficulties with the daycare closing is that there are limited options for childcare, and so a lot of parents are kind of scrambling right now to try to find a place where they can trust. Not only is availability an issue, but going back to that trust issue, trust is hard right now because their trust is broken.
That sentiment is shared among families right now, including a mother we spoke with shortly after the arrest was made. She wanted to remain anonymous.
I lost trust in private daycare centers. My first priority and always priority is about my child safety and well-being. This is not just about one incident, but it kind of raises concerns or it is a warning sign to Bright Path not to ignore any complaints from parents.
This mother took her child out of the daycare soon after the arrest was made. She says she had made several complaints to the daycare before police involvement.
Our kids went to that daycare for years and we really want to know what happened with our kids. My kids do have right to know what happened to them. Kids, majority of times, they don't know what happened to them or they cannot speak for themselves.
Schoenberg believes families may never know the full truth of what happened during the time Berrios Otero was employed there.
A lot of times the children get confused about what's okay and what's not okay because what's okay for a mom and dad is not necessarily okay for a daycare teacher. So it becomes very complicated, and so many times these children don't even know what's going on is wrong. And so it's hard to get that information and figure it out.
Attorney Schoenberg urges any family who had their child attend the Bright Path in Avon in the past 6 years to reach out to the law firm as they could have been affected. In Avon, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
Well, one person is dead and 5 people are hurt after a shooting at a mall in Baton Rouge, Louisiana earlier today. Police say 5 people are now in custody. According to investigators, 2 groups got into an argument on the food court and started shooting at each other. They are reviewing surveillance video to determine who opened fire and how many weapons were involved. The police chief says it doesn't appear to have been a random act of violence, I should say, but a targeted disagreement. Amtrak has sued Metro North and says the railroad is denying it the ability to use Metro North tracks for trains that don't make any money. Fox 61's Stefan Reels is in New Haven with a closer look at the case and what train riders are saying.
According to Amtrak, travelers have already been impacted by this decision. And in the lawsuit, the company says that Metro North is denying them the use of the tracks for non-revenue trains, and that includes the New Haven line right here. And this reportedly violates a deal the 2 companies have had for 35 years.
That would suck. That would really suck. I don't want to get trains canceled.
That's one of the concerns top of mind for Amtrak riders like Lily Davis, after the train company filed a lawsuit against Metro North. The lawsuit claims Metro North has repeatedly denied use of its New Haven and Hudson lines for non-revenue trains. This allegedly has been going on since around March 18th. Amtrak claims this has led them to either delay passenger trains or cancel them altogether.
I mean, Amtrak trains get delayed all the time anyway, So I think it would just be an inconvenience.
According to Amtrak, this decision will prevent their company from performing safety tests and reposition its trains and rail cars for maintenance, which the company says could drastically slow down its trains from 160 miles per hour to potentially 90. We reached out to the MTA, and a spokesperson sent this, quote, "The people of the Bronx have been waiting generations watching trains blow by without stopping. We have a project that will change that and improve lives for people in the Bronx, cutting their commute times by 40 minutes. It's not clear who in the federal government is directing Amtrak's lawyers to create distractions from the real issue, getting Bronxites the service they deserve," end quote. Amtrak says it tried extensively to solve this without this lawsuit, but Metro-North refused and left them with no option. Amtrak only wants its use of rails restored, something Metro-North writer Jackie Little supports.
I think they should just let them use the track. If they're not working, they need to let them use them.
I did ask Metro-North if this decision could impact travel here in Connecticut and on the New Haven line, but they have not yet responded to that question. In New Haven, Stephen Reels, Fox 61.